Hi, welcome to another herping adventure. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chris.
I've left Maryland behind to come down and visit my brother for some herping down here in Florida, something that we both enjoy. And we're just visiting a local swamp near Chris's house, hoping to find some cool critters today.
Yep, that's right. The habitat we have here is predominantly cypress swamp. It's a fairly common habitat here in Florida, and we're really hoping to capitalize on seeing lots of herptiles today. We're gonna mostly see lots of frogs, good amount of snakes, and then possibly an alligator or a turtle on the tail end of that. But definitely our most common species is going to be frogs here in the swamp.
All right, well, let's get to it. Let's do some herping.
All right, let's go.
Now, while the gators may not live in the sewers in New York, they sure do live in the sewers in Florida.
So we just started a hike and we walked up on this little dusky pygmy rattlesnake sitting out sunning itself on this rock. This is one of the first cooler but sunny days we've had here since summer's kind of ended here in Florida. These guys tend to be more diurnal, so this is pretty normal behavior for it to be out during the day. We see a lot of these in the swamps down here actually. They tend to be fairly common. So we might see more as our journey goes on for the day.
All right, we found a larger dusky pygmy rattlesnake. It's kind of hard to give you a good example of just how big it is, but we're going to show Stephanie's boot here next to it to get an idea just how small this thing is. And by small, I mean it's pretty small, but this would be considered a large adult.
What we have here is a peninsula ribbon snake. This is a pretty small one right here. It's a subspecies of ribbon snake that's pretty common in this area as well.
Alright, sometimes to find a variety of reptiles and amphibians, a little road trip is required. Today we're going to be heading down into southern Florida.
That's right, Michael. Southern Florida holds a lot of native and invasive species. We're going to be checking out areas around Miami and the Everglades just to see what we might be able to find down there.
Cool. Alright, let's do it.
Found our first invasive species, a brown basilisk. Check him out. Oop, he's fast too. There he is.
Go that way.
He's in the mud.
Woo! As fast as can be. Look
That is one fast little lizard.
Oh, what's that tire?
He's at that guy's tire.
Get out of that tire.
There he goes. It's falling. Oh, he's running.
So fast.
There he goes.
Look at me, he's on his hind legs.
Alright, what we've got here is an Everglades Racer, very similar to the Southern Black Racer or the Northern Racers we have at home in Maryland. As you can see, this one's pretty calm. It's early in the morning, so it's still pretty cold. It's not really aggressive right now. These guys are pretty typical rodent eaters or opportunists. They'll eat pretty much whatever they can find, including other reptiles.
What we have here is a Florida banded water snake. It's another subspecies of the southern water snake. This one's really fired up right now. They're very similar to any other water snake we have in the region, primarily fish eaters, but they'll eat other things if they can get them, like frogs or bigger prey. But they're a pretty cool snake. They're always fun to play with, except when they musk you. It smells pretty bad. I personally think it kind of smells like rotten tangerines, a lot of our southern water snake musk, but that's just my own take on it. But they're definitely fun to get a hold of.
Alright, I just found this brown water snake. He was hanging out near a little spillway down here in the Everglades. Thought he was pretty neat. It's kind of cool. He has a very uniquely shaped head. Very different from a lot of the other water snakes. I don't know if you can see that there. Kind of a unique looking snake. So we're going to go ahead and just put this guy right back where we found him, right by this tree. Alright, we've made the trip all the way to southern Florida. We've hit Flamingo down in the Everglades, and we've come to visit some crocodiles that have been sighted in the area.
Yep, they're a really cool species. They're the second native species of crocodilian in the United States, and they're actually considered very highly endangered. So there's a lot of protection to protect these animals. They even have the American alligator, which is, in my opinion, very common, still listed as a threatened species, just because of a direct similarity to this animal. So if you want to go ahead and zoom in on it, he's hanging out here right behind us on the bank across this canal.
Yep, let's get a close look at this croc here.
Take a look at him.
And there he is, the endangered crocodile. Another method used to find reptiles and amphibians is road cruising. Tonight we've jumped in the car and we're headed towards a couple back dirt roads. It's just a little after sunset, and it tends to be a really good time to find some critters because the roads are still a little warm, so they're attracted to them so they can warm themselves, especially the critters that are more active nocturnally.
Yeah.
All right, we're road cruising. We just found a mud snake.
I'm gonna
Check
play
this
with him.
cool thing out. Oh, he's feisty.
They're usually not that feisty.
Wow, it's glossy.
He's beautiful.
Now, what do these things eat?
They usually eat aquatic salamanders like amphiumas and sirens. They're usually
It's
pretty
awesome.
timid. They tend not to bite. You can see he's just nuzzling me.
Wow.
One of the things that they actually do is they stab you with this little tail tip here.
Yeah.
It's kind of wrapping
Really
around
cool.
there. They're really heavy. It's
He must.
constricting me pretty
We
hard.
must.
You got musk.
Cool. All right. Well, we don't want to bug him too much. We're gonna probably let him go here in a couple minutes. But really awesome.
Beautiful snake.
Awesome find. Oh, look at the color on his chin.
Checkerboarding on the belly.
Oh my gosh. Check that out. That is awesome.
Yeah, they're really
That is
cool
so
snakes.
awesome. Wow. Yes, mud snake.
Just continuing with our road cruising tonight, happened upon one of these little guys. It's a pig frog. You can get quite a bit bigger than this. These are very popular for frog gigging. People usually like to eat these guys as frog legs. Down here in the south, oh, he just croaked at us. They look very similar to a bullfrog, except there's two distinguishing factors in this frog. The webbing on the toes will extend out all the way, covering the entire long toe here. It won't do that on a bullfrog. The webbing will stop. Also, another thing is right here on their rear end, they have this white stripe right here that runs across. That's another way to distinguish that you have a pig frog. Of course, usually you can only tell that if you get a hold of it. But once again, this is another, whoop, really getting feisty here. This is another fun one we found tonight road cruising. Hopefully we'll find more stuff. Like no joke, there's a tick on this toe.
Ew, save him.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I'm hungry. But I can
So we're out here stopping for a quick bite to eat, and in the parking lot we happen across one of these nasty little critters, the cane toad, marine toad, giant toad, whatever you want to call it. It's a toad of many names. Either way you slice it, they're really nasty. They produce a really nasty toxin from these massive parotid glands, so I'm going to have to wash my hands after handling it. But these are definitely a big problem down here, but a lot of fun to catch, that's for sure. Feisty.
I don't want hands to do it. For now. You want me to tame it? What the hell do you do? Oh, no.
Look at that. Alright, we're here in Miami, and we just found a mangrove water snake. It's a subspecies of southern water snake. They tend to be a little vicious. It's already tried to bite me a couple times. But this one's calming down a little bit. It's a pretty nice one. It's got some really nice color, nice red underbelly too. Oh, there it goes, trying to bite me again.
All right, guys, what we've got here is one of the world's smallest species of snakes, the invasive Berming blind snake, now found here in southern Florida. One interesting thing about this particular species of snake is that they are parthenogenic. They are all female and they can all reproduce.
Just came up on a gopher tortoise here. It's sitting outside a burrow. There's a female inside the burrow. This one outside the burrow right now is a male. You'll often see this behavior in these guys. They're considered an endangered species in the state of Florida, primarily due to habitat loss. Also, they believe that there's a lot of spread of respiratory disease in these guys. So we're not going to get too close to it. We really don't want to disturb it from its natural behavior. But these guys are always a fun treat to see. They're definitely our biggest land tortoise that we have in the state here.
All right, well, we hope you enjoyed our Florida trip. We know we had a great time. It was good to see you, brother.
Yep, it's been great having you. Hopefully you'll come back again and do it soon.
Yeah,
Found a
we'll
lot
be
of
back.
stuff. It was great.
Cool. Till next time. We'll see ya.